Today, we're diving into a really powerful idea called the Stone Forger's Way. It's a whole new way of looking at your work, your purpose, and even the future itself. It's about shifting from just trying to predict what's next to actively creating a future you can't wait to live in. Let's get into it. So let's just start with a really honest question. Do you ever feel completely burned out? Just weighed down by this invisible pressure of all the things you have to do, all the things you're worried about? It's a feeling so many of us are familiar with. And if this sounds like you, trust me, you are not alone. I mean, just look at this. A recent survey found that a staggering 91% of creative people felt unhappy, pointing to burnout and just not feeling supported. This isn't just a bad mood we're talking about. It's practically an epidemic of exhaustion. And this feeling, it's so common, there's actually a name for the part of us that feels this way. And that name is the stone carrier. Think of it as the archetype inside all of us that's lugging around this invisible backpack full of stones, stones of past regrets, anxieties about the future, all those things we feel like we should be doing. We're constantly busy, but it feels like we're just walking in circles, getting more and more tired from the load. But what if there's another way? Well, there is, and it starts by forging a new path. Now, this isn't about just working harder or slapping on a positive thinking band-aid. It's about a deep, fundamental shift in how you see everything, moving from just carrying the weight to actively shaping the world around you. This quote right here, this is the absolute heart of the philosophy. Instead of trying to guess what's coming, the Stone Forger's Way is all about creating a future with so much care and intention that it becomes the easiest, most natural path to follow. You're not chasing it, you're attracting it. And this is a really crucial piece of the puzzle. It means that your attention, your focus, your commitment, it literally brings the path into existence. The stone path solidifies as you take the step, not a moment before. You're not just some traveler on a pre-made road. You are the one creating the very ground you walk on. So that's what stone forging is. It's the conscious, deliberate act of creation. It's the huge difference between letting life just happen to you and actively participating with life. You're making the switch from being a carrier of stones to being the one who forges them into something incredible. Okay, so how do we actually do this? How do we tap into this completely new way of being? Well, the philosophy offers something it calls a cheat code, a way to bypass all those old, glitchy patterns of fear and doubt that keep us stuck in that stone carrier mode. I mean, this is the big question, isn't it? The stone carrier is often trapped in this loop of low-grade panic, where stopping feels dangerous, but every choice is clouded by 1,000 what-ifs. Our rational mind demands proof before it's willing to make a move. So what's the code that breaks us out of that paralysis? The answer is so simple, but it changes everything. Trust. And we're not talking about some kind of blind leap of faith. Think of it more like your own personal physics. Trust is the mechanism that lets you take the step before the stone is fully solid, knowing that your commitment is actually what makes the path real. And here's why it's a cheat code. See, our rational brain gets stuck in this classic catch-22. It wants proof before it will act, but the proof only shows up after we act. Trust lets you bypass that whole loop. It's the choice to move forward without a guarantee, which then creates the very evidence your rational mind was waiting for. It's a game changer. The next tool totally redefines our relationship with time. Seriously, forget about fighting the clock. A stone forger sees time as a partnership. Imagine a trellis in a garden. That's the fixed structure of time, like the calendar or the seasons. And the vine, that's your living, breathing, organic experience of that time. You know, how it flows when you're in a creative zone versus how it drags when you're bored. So you don't fight the trellis, you tend the vine. And you do that through something called active patience. This is not about sitting around and waiting for things to happen. No way. It's the active work of building what will matter tomorrow. It's planting the seeds, strengthening your foundations, and preparing the soil so that when the moment is right, growth isn't just possible, it's inevitable. Now, this journey from being totally way down to becoming a conscious creator, it's not a single giant leap. It's more of a cycle, a progression through 4 really distinct phases, or archetypes. Let's take a look at what they are. So we all start out as the stone carrier, right? Burdened by stories we didn't even choose. Then a lot of us become the stone thrower. We use our energy to fight against the world, throwing our stones at problems. The next phase is the conscious forger, where we start to shape each stone with real intention and craft. And finally, we integrate into the stone forger, where that burden becomes a gift, and the weight, well, it becomes art. And these aren't fixed levels. They are phases we all cycle through with every new challenge we face. You know, this way of thinking isn't brand new. It's really standing on the shoulders of ancient wisdom. It echoes powerful ideas like this one. It is better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. At its core, this whole philosophy is about contribution, not complaint. It's about lighting that candle in your own life. Okay, this all sounds pretty great in theory, but how do we actually start? How do we make this stuff real in our own lives, like right now? The beautiful thing about this philosophy is just how practical it is. And this is maybe the most crucial point of all. You do not need to wait for the perfect moment. You don't need a diploma or for someone to tell you you're ready. The only thing you need to begin this journey is the simple willingness to practice, to just take that first small step. And here are 4 tiny practices you can start with today. First, just feel the stones. Acknowledge the weight you're carrying without any judgment. Second, choose one stone. Just one, a small burden, and mentally set it down. Third, use the silent check. Before you react to something, just pause and ask yourself, is this really mine to carry? And finally, the trust breath. Inhale possibility, exhale the need for control. So simple, but so powerful. When it comes right down to it, this work is all about a shift in your whole state of being. It isn't about pushing harder or forcing outcomes. It's about building your inner world with so much clarity and integrity that you naturally create a pull. You become a magnet for the very future you're building. So we end with this question, turning it all back to you. That path you're looking for, it isn't out there somewhere waiting to be found. You are creating it right now with every single choice. The field of infinite potential is waiting. It's listening. So what will you create?